right, welcome everybody to the Intergine first annual webinar. And today we're here with myself, our Chief Engineer Radek, and our Chief Product Placement Officer, as well as truly the Renaissance man of iRadek, Tony. And today we're going to talk about a subject that is valuable to just about everybody who owns a business. And specifically, we're talking about web design automation. So what is web design automation? Where did it come from, and how long has it been around? Well, since 2007, guys, we've been creating web design automation, and we've essentially built a system where within seconds you can generate a website that's fully functionable, manageable by yourself, and is hosted and publicly accessible. What does this mean? This means that all the traditional options that you're used to are kind of out the door, because what you can do in a matter of seconds with little to no technical expertise is something that was previously restricted from you. So in our efforts at Intergine to promote this product and give you more information, we just wanted to quickly do a simple demonstration of some of the technologies, some of the benefits that we believe web design automation really brings to the industry of website hosting and website design. So as you can see on our base site, and I encourage everybody as part of this presentation to go to our website, webdesignautomation.com. And here you'll see specifically on the main page a link to actually generate a website directly from the site. So if you go ahead and click this button, and I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this for you, you can actually create any website that you'd like to do. So we're going to call ours, for the purposes of this meeting, the Online Survival. So you can see right here, I set up and determine what my website name is going to be. Go ahead and generate my password. And click the button. And I've got a website. Wow, that took a long time, huh? And as you can see, within about 30 seconds, I've actually generated my website with little to no other than an email address. Essentially from here, I've generated a page, and as you can see, I have full customization options. I have access to my administrative menu, and I can basically set up a site and design, bring in my pictures. As you can see, you can set up classifieds, appointments, notifications. We'll get into a little bit more of this as we dive a little bit more into the feature sets that are available with the Intergine LPK7 engine. So without further ado, let's go back to web design automation. Let's just talk a little bit about what this thing is, right? So what is web design automation? Well, basically, SONET's been around with iRadek software since 2007. So when we started out, we could basically create about 300 dynamic websites, generally within an hour. But the technology has significantly increased since then. And now the engine itself is, capable of producing millions and even billions of websites in much shorter periods of time. And what this means is essentially that any average business owner can go and generate a website and tailor it to their business within a short period of time. The traditional setup, the time, the effort that's spent is not really a thing anymore. We've really taken all the nonsense, all the additional barriers to creating a website that really suits your business out of the way. So let's go ahead and dive into the presentation just a little bit. So as you can see, previously with website design, you really didn't have much control over your site. Essentially, you would go out and you would pay somebody. It would be an expensive proposition. They would have a new number of questions, but it would be complicated in order to transition your business. And when you actually got that end product, typically it was very slow. It wasn't well orchestrated. It really didn't match up with your initial expectations. Uh, so then you've got your website and you're not even done. You have to hit the second hurdle to really promote your business, which is how are you going to actually communicate what you do and what you sell directly to the world? And we use the term search engine optimization. It's very common in web hosting. Basically, this is how people find you, how the search engines essentially will determine and match a user specifically to your website. But then you had to go get an expert in search engine optimization, and that was difficult. You really didn't understand how search engine optimization was actually promoting your site on the public internet. And on top of that, it was a slow process. Sometimes it would take weeks and months of turnaround, and then you really wouldn't see the ranking results that you would want for your business. So what was the net result of this process? Well, once you've actually gone through and paid some expert essentially to create your website, as well as another expert to go ahead and promote your website, then you've got to answer for why the technology is fixed, it's not getting updated, why your results are constantly being pushed to the bottom of Google search pages, and additional concerns that you really couldn't quantify because you didn't know, because you didn't own the technology, because you didn't manage it, because you had no direct control over what your website was doing and how it was being promoted. So what does the Sonnet web engine really do? What is Intergine really talking about right here? Well, we're talking about being able to generate a fully hosted website. As you can see, the site itself is created in under 5 seconds. You have to do a little bit of a validation process just to verify you've got an email address. This is simply so that you can log in and get administrative control. But once you've done that, you basically have a fully functional website that performs very well on the public internet, can be search engine optimized so that it's very referenceable, specifically when it comes to your web store, when it comes to anything that you're selling or trying to promote, as well as news and blog. On top of that, you actually have innovation. So by innovation, what do I mean? I mean essentially when you buy in or start utilizing the Sonnet web engine, essentially you are getting built into all the features and revelations of a really a technological advancement as far as it comes to web design. You get new features because the engine is always being iterated and improved, as well as being further tailored and simplified specifically to your business needs and goals. So by simplicity, we're saying the average user with little to no technical knowledge can actually have a great understanding and excessive amount of control in the design and in the promotion of their website. So what is the net result of actually adopting this technology? Well, you actually get and generate new sales leads because your website is hosted and is promoted properly on the internet. On top of that, we want to reinforce some of the main key features inside of the Sonnet web engine that are real game changers, like being able to use a progressive web app. Now, that may be a technical term, but for you laymen's out there, a progressive web app means you're not playing with the iOS or the Google Play Store, the Apple stores, in order to promote your business. App technology has come a long way. And now you can download a progressive web app that basically functions your site in an application that is mobile functional and is downloadable directly to your mobile device without going through the traditional Web Store or Google Play Store approval process. So it really simplifies the way that people that like to interact with your business can do so, and can do so in a very, very efficient manner. And on top of that, we built in real-time notifications. So what do I mean by real-time notifications? Essentially, if you have an appointment, say your business is essentially selling customer service appointments for your business, the real-time notification feature will allow you to get notifications when somebody requests an appointment, when they update a time, when they have additional feedback that they want. So it really gives you a better interaction directly with your clients. On top of that, you have web forms, contact us forms that can essentially be encapsulated and put into your site so that you can maintain a active sales lead channel as well as fantastic customer interaction and feedback. And then obviously, as I mentioned in the previous example, the appointments themselves allow you to basically manage your business as well as generate an outside communication channel to anybody who's interested in maybe booking one of your services. So what happens in this example when you transition from a traditional web hosting provider directly to the SONET web engine? Uh, well, we're going to let the actual net results that we've seen with companies that have taken the leap. You have to be daring in this business environment. The title of the seminar is Selling Online, the Online Survival Guide. So in the COVID crisis, and you can't not mention that right now because it dramatically affects small businesses, especially disproportionately to large businesses that have tremendous amounts of capital. You're struggling for survival here because sometimes Main Street is closed down. People aren't as familiar or as comfortable essentially shopping in person as they used to be. So it's really become more critical than ever that your web presence actually reflects that strong bond and connection that you have to the community as a small business. So in order to do that, really your online web presence needs to reflect you. And as you can see from our previous example in that scenario that we're talking about, the traditional model, there's real problems with when you use these large providers and how they're actually going to be able to reflect you, because you're giving up that control. You're giving up that ownership of your business to somebody else who thinks they know what you want and thinks they know what everybody wants when they're looking for your site. Now, that's not traditionally the case. And, here at SONET Intergine, we believe that you know best because you have the most information when it comes to your client interactions, what's worked for your business in the past. So by utilizing the engine, you can actually transition your business and, you know, everything that you've been doing wonderfully in a brick and mortar structure now will actually relate directly to your web site, directly to the services you provide. You have feedback, you have instant notifications, you can have live client chats. So it actually is a good replacement, or at least a supplement to your brick and mortar business structure. So what about these results? How can we prove what we're saying here? Well, we'll give you the example of a small business up in Reno, Nevada called Sargent's Maytag. So Sargent's actually recently partnered with the SONET web engine, and they saw, and these are real results produced directly from Sargent's, 75% reduced cost per year in direct comparison to what their old web service provider charged them. So I dare you to go to a car lot today, and I want you to walk up to the first salesman that approaches you, and trust me, there'll be a ton on the lot, and ask them, "Hey, I love that Toyota Camry, but I don't want to pay 20 grand for it. Will you give it to me for 5?" And just see what kind of response you get. Nobody can actually produce the cost savings that we're talking about here. The large website providers are charging an arm and a leg, and guess what? You're just a number to them. You don't matter, not in the way you do to us, and not in the way that our platform is built to shape and allow you to control and specifically promote your business. So you can also see with Sergeants, they actually got a 20% increase in service leads. So that actually allowed them to have increased profit. Not only that, they got a 15% increase in sales, again, leading to increased profit. And they reduced their overall advertising cost by 25% and have produced pretty much what we'll call keyword domination in terms of the Google platform. So why is this impressive? Well, because this all happened in the middle of the COVID crisis. So this is a direct representation of what a small business can do to offset challenges that aren't really things that you can necessarily plan for or expect. One thing that businesses are constantly doing is they're insuring themselves against negative things that are outside of their control, acts of God. And being right in the middle of this crisis, we can say that this is something that nobody really could have predicted the size and the scope of. However, what we can tell you is that those that adapt, those that believe in the evolutionary principle in business and in life, are the ones that are going to succeed. And we're seeing a whole new entrepreneurial class, a movement essentially, of people that really want to promote themselves and need a way, a capacity in order to do that. And that's what the Sonet engine really provides. So what I'd like to do now is take you through some of the basics of the Sonet web engine and the cross comparison of the Sonet web engine versus some of the providers that we're speaking about here today. And some of these names are going to look very familiar to you. So first off, let's start off with the speed. So how fast is the Sonet web engine? Well, it's about 10 times faster than a very popular provider that you've probably heard of called Wix. Yes, we love their advertisements. And let me tell you, they're spending billions on this. But you know what they're not spending billions on? You, because they don't care about you. Uh, really, you're just a number on a financial statement. And I guess if 100,000 people got together and complained, they might be forced to do something to essentially uh, understand that concern. However, typically when you actually have these relationships with these large service providers, you're going to get really frustrated with what actual backend support that they provide for you. So let's just go in and let's just prove on baseline metrics. We're not even talking about customer service at this point. Let's see how these sites perform and how much, this promotion, that ad that you saw on TV, what does it really translate into when you actually go ahead and purchase this? Well, as you can see, and this is an independent measuring site that actually produces reports on site speed and site scores to give you a benchmark, basically to understand how your website is performing. So you can see right here, and you're welcome to go ahead and test this at any point. Go ahead to GT metrics, and what you can do is basically put in your site and put in another site and do a comparison on how fast the page loads, essentially how big the page is, how chatty it is what we like to call with this little item here called the total number of requests. So how many other connections does it need to create to bring in content? And one of the things you need to know about the Sonet web engine, lpk7.com, Intergine, is that we are feature rich. You can push video. This is really suited to the next generation of wireless internet and mobile devices. When 5G comes out and is proliferated across the United States and the globe, people are going to start actually being able to interact with content rich websites. So, what do I mean by content rich websites? I mean your own videos, your own testimonials. You're not going to have that loading screen, the old hourglass or circles with the dot, dot, dot. That's a thing of the past. Everything's going to be an on demand, just like the on demand world. So as you can see right here, let's just look at the benchmarks. So look at that page speed grade. So LPK7 is just literally killing Wix at every single turn in terms of how fast the page loads, uh, how big the actual page is, and how long it's presented on your device. So if you're a small business, why does this matter? Because that's really what we have to substantiate here. Well, when your page is loading, that is time that could be spent with your users interacting with your site. So when you go with a provider with Wix and it takes a really long time and there's things loading in the background, what does that typically produce? User frustration. Okay. People want in this on-demand world a way to get at your site and do exactly what function they need to do, i.e., buy your products, learn more about your business, or set an appointment or interact with you directly. That has to come instantaneously. And the longer that you wait for your site to load, the number of interactions is a lost opportunity. It's an opportunity cost to your business to really convey your message and have your users have a strong interaction with your site and it makes them more likely to use you now as well into the future for any of their business services needs. And as you can see, the side-by-side comparison, it really doesn't even line up. The apples to apples comparison here is not apples to apples, it's apples to rotten squash. I mean, when you buy Wix, you get you pay a lot more money and you get a lot less. So I challenge you to go ahead and evaluate this yourself. The truth is the truth, and it's objective here. And you can go look out on the internet and prove it multiple different ways. So now let's get into the functionality. This is where it really matters. So we're just going to dive into a cross comparison of the Intergine web engine, the yearly costs, and two major providers that you might have heard of, GoDaddy, one of the biggest hosters on the internet. Yes, they do build websites as well as Wix. So if you look for a basic business website, you're talking roughly twice the price for both of these providers. Now, when we go into the feature comparison, this is where it really, the devil is in the details. Specifically, for that 180 or that $200 that you're getting with GoDaddy or Wix, you're not getting the merchant account support. You're not getting the shopping cart. So you've got a site, but you can't sell anything. Everything is ticky-tacky add-ons with these providers. That's going to cost you additional money, is going to take longer for you to generate that web store online, as well as it's another hurdle that you have to go through in the setup and the design. And what's different with the Sonnet web engine is that this is not only included, but it's simplified and it's built in out of the box. So as you can see here, you get the shopping cart, the product and inventory levels, shipping and tax input, and then you actually get a back-end database for all of your orders and your customers. You get PayPal buttons, and most importantly, you have web store security built in. So previously I mentioned the progressive web app. This is a wonderful feature that allows people to essentially load an app on their phone directly of your website. Uh, on top of that, now you have an SEO optimizer built right into the site. And what does this do? It asks you a few keywords that are specific to your business and the products you're selling. It proliferates those keywords throughout your site, and it makes Google reach out to you because the things that you're promoting as part of your business are the things that Google is seeing on the public internet. So there's more direct connection and ways that people who are looking for your type of business and services can directly link back and purchase or sign up for your businesses and services. And you can see compliance is a very important portion of this, as well as security. We're built on the Microsoft platform, and we do that explicitly, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But more so, I wanted to talk about some of the amazing rich media functions that we've got with the site. And as you can see here, this is not a fight. This is literally a massacre. Essentially, you have HD video support, you have automatic slideshows, custom forms, rich media banners. As you can see, sometimes you can purchase these features, but typically without actually getting a webmaster or working on WordPress, you won't be able to gain instantaneous access to something like this. So as a result, really, this is a platform that's going to work for you now in the middle of the crisis, as well as when things resume to some degree of normal. You'll actually have something that's truly fitting with the times. Very modern looking, as you can see. Our site design has been updated with some of the uh, most current and effective templates that we've seen in the marketplace. And also, we actually have site backup. We have, direct email functions, Google AdWords support. I mean, as you can see, if you go to one of our clients, Meccano home site, you can actually put Google Street Views and embed them directly into your website. So the possibilities are essentially endless. And what you'll see here is that when you partner with the SONET web engine, they effectively are endless because we take that feedback and we build it into each iteration of the platform. So each release is going to be directly reflected with your feedback. And it's something that we pride ourselves on. So obviously the lead generation is a major part of the platform, the online business functionality with the appointment bookings, the content forms, just ways to get users interacting with your site and develop a rapport, because that's what's going to be instrumental to extending your business and attracting new clients. And you've also got business intelligence built in, so you can actually send a note to anybody that is hosted on your site. You can have direct interaction with them with those real-time notifications. You can pull reports on who's accessing your site and how much time they're spending on there. And you have all of this rich media hosting. You can actually change the way that your site is designed in a matter of seconds. So the features here are quite extensive and they're increasing every single time. Really, we're trying to be a revolutionary in the industry and we're really succeeding on that basis. And as you can see, the other companies are charging you much more money just to be further behind. So, really what I pose to you is the question is why? Why would you spend more for an inferior product? What about that marketing made you want to do this? How is it actually affecting your business? Is it really doing what you want it to? And if the answer to any of those questions is no, then what I challenge you to do is take a risk and check it out. And what we want to do is consult, understand the nature of your business, and understand what you're into, what you're selling, and how you want to promote yourself. Because what we can see is this engine itself has the capability to really provide something that you're not getting elsewhere. So let's talk briefly about security. Essentially, most of the web hosting platforms, WordPress, Drupal, Jamala, they're not typically secure. And if you go and you look, you'll see that there are many ways to break the web stores, to act as a man in the middle, spyware, all these things that you see on Google News or some other media source meant to freak you out as they should, are because essentially the web platform that you are built on may not be what's considered a secure technology. So this is a big deal, especially when you're talking about your business. You hear about this in the news every single day about another site getting hacked, another database being exposed. But I want to assure you, we're built on Microsoft technology. It's a closed architecture. So it's actually built for the enterprise, and for the web, it's built to be immensely secure. And our site does not suffer from most of the common vulnerabilities that you'll see with most engines. And as a result, it just means one less thing to worry about. You can trust me, or you can actually go look at the statistics. But baseline, we have thought about security. We have baked it in to the way that the platform is built on Microsoft's platform. And we chose Microsoft because of their history, because of their reputation in the enterprise. So as a result, what you'll see is that you don't have to have as much nervous energy with your site because you're not worrying about site getting hacked, somebody else getting at your shopping cart and redirecting your income to an offshore account. None of this is actually an immediate concern. Sure, these things happen, but not on Microsoft technology proportionate to all of the other technologies that are out there and producing websites. So I just want to give you a little bit of security in this unsecure world. And I think that the SONET engine is going to be great for that. So real quick, we're not going to dive into this, but what I want to preface here is that consumer reviews, what our clients are telling us is probably the most important thing that we can get as developers for feedback. And our clients are specifically telling us that the web platform is saving them through the pandemic. People that actually initiated and signed up before the pandemic and had some time to create and kind of refine their website, they're doing tremendously. And they're really able to survive in this economy because of the fact that they're using this platform. Um, you know, People are not showing up to brick and mortar businesses. So you have to find a new way, a new approach in order to connect with them. And we're generating more unique visitors for these clients. And what does that mean? That means people that are led to your site not through some kind of unconstructive means. It's not clicking an ad here. Essentially, it's going on Google, looking for something, and then that something points directly to your website. And that's how people find you. And that's how, when you open up that scope, that's how you sell more things. If you're trying to increase your sales and your revenue, really you have to appeal to a broader base. You have to have more people looking at your site, more people that are interested. So what we're doing here is, because the search engine optimization makes Google look directly towards your business, the people that are coming to your website are going to be the people that are going to be buying or interacting with your business and with your products. So these are a few testimonials, basically from Meccano Home, Uncle Freddy's. These are Reno-based businesses in different sectors too. I mean, you have a dog groomer, you have an actual public-facing store. Meccano is actually a Main Street store, as well as Sargent's. And these two business owners are thriving during this COVID crisis. And the reason that they're able to do that is when the store shut down, it's all about how your users can find you, how great your website looks, and whether or not they want to buy something. Because it takes a lot for a website to really communicate what your business does without actually being there. And it'd be great if we were all wearing VR goggles and we could tour every single business and interact with you in real time. But let's be honest, I mean, that's not the reality now. What is available to you, however, with the SONET web engine is a website that looks great, that summarizes exactly what your business does, that populates up to Google everything everybody needs to know to find you, and will really be able to run your small business out of the box with little to no technical understanding. Now, of course, we have guides on the site, and the actual navigation and the menus are pretty easy to maintain and walk through. But what we're saying here is that the ease of use is tremendous. I mean, you can set this up and you can design this, and you don't need a degree. You don't even need 5 minutes of training. Literally, any typical user out of the box can click the button, validate their email, and start playing around in the site designer. And that's exactly what we want you to do as part of this meeting. Is we want you to reach out, talk to us. We're not asking for anything other than your feedback, and for you to take a risk and to try this. We're not going to charge you. We just want you to see what the engine is capable of and see if this is something that we can fit to your business. Because if it is, we'd really like to take the additional effort and see what we can do for you on the platform. We're very receptive to that. So I just want to extend that olive branch that LPK7 and the SONET Web Engine is a tremendous product, and we really want to get you on board and start working with your business and really optimize it for the 21st century and make it solid, make it, you know, titanium proof, so that you can operate in any business climate, because this is so important, especially right now, especially with Main Street kind of shut down, with people doing less in-person interaction. We've got to adapt you. We've got to evolve you to the modern way to sell. And we've got everything in a box. All you need to do is try it. So I fully encourage you to reach out to us. My email is michael@iratic.com. Tony and Radic are also available. And we'd love to set up a consultation, get to know more about your business. You can see right on the web design automation, we have a contact us form. If that's too much, just send us an email. Just drop us a line. We want to know about your business. We want to know if you see any benefit to the engine and how we can move forward and, you know, really so that you can take advantage of what we're offering here, because we do feel like we're offering something tremendous. So thanks everybody for attending the webinar. And for right now, I'm going to conclude the presentation, but I would like to say anybody that's interested, please reach out, and we'll take some time to work with you and essentially build the business.